Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about all the Car Beauty palettes that I own. So I'm going to break down every single palette, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, whatever, and I'm going to share my thoughts with you on all the palettes that I own. I actually have quite a few here. I have 4 of the 9 pan eyeshadow palettes here. Then I have 1 of their bigger palettes and 2 of their glitter palettes. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into the video because I don't want to make this too long. So first I'm going to start by talking about the 9 shadow palettes that I have, and I'm going to start with my absolute favorite, which is the Fiery 9 by Car Beauty. And all of the 9 shadow palettes look just like this, the same unicarton, and on the back they have all the shadow names, so I think that that's really convenient. Now this one is my favorite simply because of the shades in the palette. So when you open this up, like, my eye is automatically drawn to this mustard yellow, this red, this orange, this gold here, and then this brown shade. And I really love like those more fall warm tones. So this palette is just like, it's my go-to palette. I don't have anything bad to say about this palette. All of the shades in here are very pigmented, so I'll just show you my favorite ones. Like, look at that, so beautiful. I really appreciate having deeper tones in a palette just because for the outer V I usually like to have a deeper tone. So I really love that they have 2 of these in the palette. The last matte in the palette is this white shade down here, and it's literally a pure white shade, so I think that that can come in handy. And then we have 3 metallics in the palette, and here they are. So Toast is honestly so beautiful. This is Toast right here, and you can actually use this as a face highlight. And then you have these 2 metallics, which are absolutely stunning. So this whole palette gets an A++ for me. I absolutely love this palette. This is one of my favorites in my collection and definitely one of my most reached for. Moving on to my 2 next favorites. I can't really decide which one I like more than the other just because I like them for different reasons. So now we're just going to go ahead and talk about the Essential 9 palette, and it has the same deal, obviously, all the shade names on the back. So when you open it up, you have all these beautiful brown tones. Some are more cool and some are more warm, which I appreciate. And then obviously you get some deeper mattes, which is great, and then you get some really light mattes as well as these metallics right here, and they're absolutely stunning as well. I'm trying to figure out where I can swatch these for y'all. Beautiful. You can even use this as a highlight in this palette, so really good palettes to travel with, and they're just stunning. This one I don't really have too much to say just because it is a more natural palette for me, but I definitely do find it to be like an essential palette to have on hand just for more natural days, or if you are traveling and you just want something that you can use on an everyday basis. This is an awesome palette to have. Shadows blend beautifully and they are very pigmented. Yeah, that concludes my thoughts for the Essential 9. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the Classical 9, which is another one of my favorites. And this one here is just, it has a lot going on in it, which is why it's one of my favorites. But I think the one thing that kind of pulls me back from it is the fact that these purples are not really my favorites. I think that they definitely did better with the purples in the Car Beauty ES2 palette, but the purples in both the Heavenly 9 and the Classical 9 I'm just not a fan of. I don't think that they blend well, and I don't think that the pigment is really there, but I do love this palette for pairing with other palettes. That's the only downside of these 2 palettes here. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I just feel like you can't really do a complete look. At least I don't feel that I'm really capable of doing a complete look just because I don't really have any deeper shades to work with. Now this purple here, it's more like a, I don't know, it's like a pinky purple. This one is absolutely beautiful, and I love this shade here. And so these are the other metallics in the palette, and let me just show you guys. They are freaking beautiful. Car Beauty has done it with the metallics. I don't know, but whatever they're doing it right. I mean, I'm kind of like here and there with this palette. I really do like this portion of the palette, but like I said, the colors don't really coincide enough for you to create a complete look with this palette, which is my only downside. But yeah, great palette, just don't really care for these 2 shades. Next, the Heavenly 9 palette by Car Beauty. So this one here, you can see it's a lot more cool toned than the other palettes that I've shown you. Again, the purples not too pleased with, but every other shade other than these 2 up here I think are great. The only downside that I would have to say, aside from the purples not being pigmented, is that these are mainly all shimmers, so you don't really have matte shades to work with, which I need matte shades more than I need shimmers. So you only have these two matte shades right here. They just don't really give you a lot to work with this palette, which is why this is my least favorite. So I mean, if you're really into shimmers and you don't require a lot, I think this would be a good palette for you. But for me, it just doesn't really fit all of my needs. So I just kind of pick up this palette. It's for like 1 or 2 shades. I don't really reach for this a whole lot, but the metallics in here are really, really good. And I feel like the metallics are unique shades, like this pretty purple here and this one here. I don't really have those in my collection, so I do appreciate this palette for the metallics. So all of these palettes were sent to me in PR, and they do retail for, I think, $12.99. Let me double check. You can get these palettes for $12.99 each off of carbbeauty.com, and I do have a discount code with them. It's JESI, J-E-S-I, for 10% off if you are interested. Moving on to the Carbbeauty ES2 palette. This is honestly one of my favorite palettes from them, just because of the shades in here. So this is a shade range in here, and so look at this, and then just look at this for a second. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not that Morphe has discontinued their 35B palette, and honestly this palette is literally like identical, like literally it's identical. So this is honestly a great option if you never got your hands on the 35B by Morphe, but you still want quality shadows and you still want that same shade selection. So honestly, that's why I picked this one up, and this was my first introduction to Carbbeauty, and I fell in love, and I love their shadows. I think that they do a great job. So anywho, not really much to say on this palette. I think all of these shades are great. The purples in this palette are a lot better than the ones in the Heavenly 9 and the Classical 9. I think this just covers all of your pops of color needs. So I think this is a great option for anybody wanting to play with a little bit of color, but stay more on the affordable side, because this gives you a variety of everything, and it's just a great palette. It's like blendable, pigmented. It's just overall an awesome palette to have. This one here is $19.99 on Carbbeauty's website. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the glitter palette. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the Carbbeauty ES49 Galaxy palette. And for a second, let's just talk about the packaging, because oh my goodness, it's absolutely stunning. And what I love about it is, like, you can rub this palette and the glitter is not going to transfer onto your hands or onto your clothes or anything like that. So really beautiful packaging. Then when you go ahead and open it up, you get these amazing sized pans in these very unique shades. First and foremost, what I really love about these glitters, and what I really appreciate, is that you don't have to use glitter glue or like a glitter primer to get it to stay onto your lid or wherever you're putting it. And you can like hit the pan upside down, like you can do whatever. Glitter is not falling out of this thing, which I appreciate. I love glitter, but if I can have glitter in this form, I much prefer it, because loose glitter is just messy. It gets everywhere. It just kind of like sticks to your face, whereas this one doesn't. This one is so easy to work with. It's unbelievable. You can literally go straight into a pan and it's on your finger, and you can go directly onto your eye and just kind of like pat it wherever you want it, and you're done. I prefer Carbbeauty's glitter palettes over anything, honestly. And this palette here retails for $34.99, but it's definitely well worth it, because it just saves you time. It's so convenient, and it's very forgiving if you do like mess up, or like if you're trying to go for a cut crease and you get it a little bit above your crease, you can go in with like a more stiff brush and just like dust it away, and it comes right off. But at the same time, it wears forever. I don't know how they do it, but they did that. So that concludes my thoughts on this palette. I love it. Nothing bad to say about it whatsoever, and I highly recommend. If you want glitter, here you go. So now we're gonna go ahead and talk about the last palette that I have here, and this is the Carbbeauty ES17 35 color Galaxy palette. So this one Darian actually purchased for me as a gift, and this one retails for $39.99. This is the inside of the palette. I really appreciate that it comes with this huge mirror, and honestly, this is a good quality mirror. Like, this is one that's not going to make you look all weird and distorted. Like, this is a very decent mirror to have, and I like it because if I'm traveling or whatever the case is, not only am I able to do a bomb look because I have all of these glitters to work with if I want in one palette, one place, but it also comes with this huge mirror, so if I am traveling, I can kind of like set myself up right here. And it's just a win-win because I got my glitter, I got my mirror, I'm good. So this is the same concept as the last palette that I showed you. I do think the last palette, their consistency may be better by like a slight bit, but this one is still great and easy to work with. So you just take it straight from the palette and then kind of just like put it wherever you need it. Perfect for traveling, I think, just because like I said, it's a win-win. You kind of get everything, and it's also really slim, just kind of like fits in your bag really nicely. And all you would need is probably like one other palette or a couple just like single shadows to like work into the crease or something like that. So honestly, love this palette, nothing bad to say about it. So that concludes all my thoughts on all of these palettes from Cara Beauty. Like I said, I do have a discount code. It's JESI, JESI, for 10% off. And before I close out this video, I do want to say that I really appreciate, respect, and love Cara Beauty as a brand. They have a really special place in my heart just because they were the first brand to actually contact me and add me to their PR list, which I really appreciate because I do work full-time, I pay bills, I just have a lot of other places for my money to go, so I can't always go and spend money on makeup. So for a brand to send me free product, that way I can create better content, better looks using quality products, I appreciate it so much. So I am just so grateful that they allowed me to have this opportunity to share their brand with you guys. It just blows my mind how they came across me. And obviously I don't have the biggest following. There's plenty more people doing the same thing as me who have tons more followers than I do, but the fact that Cara Beauty allowed me to have this opportunity, it just means everything to me. So thank you, Cara Beauty, if you are watching this. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I really do hope that you guys go out and support Cara Beauty because they deserve all the love. They are an awesome company, an awesome brand, and they create awesome products. So definitely go check out their website, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.